Business time now for you. Charles Pellegrin is here. He started with market reaction as promised to Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's electoral victory in Japan.
The Prime Minister and her conservative Liberal Democratic Party winning a two-thirds majority in the lower house during elections over the weekend, handing her a strong mandate to conduct an ambitious big spending agenda. Let's start by looking at how the Japanese currency has reacted. It's currently a weakening against the dollar after initially strengthening on the news during the campaign. Takaichi hinted at favoring a weaker yen in order to boost the country's export sector. On the other hand, though, a weaker currency could also lead to higher imported energy and food costs. And inflation, as we'll see later, has been a major concern for Japanese voters. Before the vote, the yen hovered at an 18-month lows against the dollar. Let's also look at how the markets have reacted. The Nikkei index finishing the session up 3.9% higher at a record high of over 56,000 points. Investors enthusiastic then about the political stability this victory represents. Take a listen to this analyst.
What it is, it's a real sense of a vote of obviously, clearly a vote of confidence for Sanae Takaichi and the LDP that they can actually deliver on the promises they've made to invigorate the economy, make investments into strategic industries, and then on the household front to reduce inflation and basically put more money in people's pockets.
Yeah, easing cost of living concerns has been really central to Sanae Takaichi's campaign.
She ran on that promise of fighting rising inflation on the back of the COVID pandemic in a country that was more marked by deflationary fears for a long time. In 2024, the annual inflation rate stood at 2.7%, down slightly from 3.3% the year prior. Japanese voters have pointed to the rising price of food as a major concern. The price of rice, for instance, doubled last year. The Prime Minister responded to that with a 21.3 trillion yen, or about 115 billion euros, stimulus package last year that included subsidies for electricity and gas, as well as coupons for food. And during the campaign this time around, she also threw around the idea of suspending a sales tax on food items. Her bet is also that shaking off stagnating economic growth with stimulus will help ease these inflation woes thanks to rising wages and incomes.
Yeah, leads us to the next question, I suppose, Charles. How's this actually going to be funded?
Well, this is a very important question considering that Japan already has one of the world's highest levels of government debt among advanced economies at 230% of GDP, ahead of the US, France, and Germany, just for reference. And this is partly because previous governments have pursued the same policy of spending heavily to try and boost growth with limited success. And Takaichi is not just looking to cut taxes and increase spending for consumers, she's also pledged to boost the defense budget amid increased tensions with China. So there's all this pressure to spend at the same time as the country keeps aging, meaning that in the future, more money will be spent on social care costs while the workforce will be shrinking, especially if Takaichi's staunch anti-immigration stance continues.
Different story for you now. Back in France, in fact, 6 people, all of them under 20 years old, have been arrested for allegedly kidnapping a magistrate and her mother as well.
And holding them for a ransom of cryptocurrency. It's just the latest in a rash of such crimes across France. Organizers recruiting young perpetrators online with the promise of easy money. Brian Quinn and our colleagues at France Télévisions have the story.
From this garage outside the southeastern French city of Valence, a young magistrate and her 67-year-old mother were freed on Friday after being held against their will for some 30 hours. By Sunday night, a police dragnet had snagged 6 suspects, all under 20 years old, one as young as 17.
The people involved are very young, recruited via social networks by very organized people. This is organized crime.
It was from this picturesque village outside Grenoble that the 2 women were violently kidnapped. The magistrate's partner, a cryptocurrency entrepreneur, soon received the ransom demand. The 6 suspects were split into 2 teams, one tasked with the kidnapping itself, the other with logistics. All were recruited on social networks like Snapchat, TikTok, and Signal via job offers similar to those used by drug traffickers. The young recruits, unacquainted with one another, never knowing the names of their bosses, who are often operating from foreign territory.
It's like the Uberization of crime. These young people are drawn in with promises of a few thousand euros. It's a kind of disembodied evil. They don't even think about what they're doing because they're so young and immature.
The targeting of wealthy cryptocurrency investors for kidnapping and extortion has become troublingly frequent in France. In January 2025, an executive and his partner were taken, his finger severed. Last May, the daughter of a crypto businessman barely escaped being snatched by a gang on the streets of Paris. For the latest incident, crimes of organized kidnapping and unlawful confinement, the suspects are now facing up to 10 years behind bars.
Charles, with the business news on France 24. Thanks very much, Charles.